All right, y'all. We are live. We're back with another What's Your Perspective? Y'all, welcome back. If you are new to the platform or you're new to one of our streams, this is United Through. Hold on. We can make it a little extravagant. United through music. All right. Anyways, we got a couple topics that we can get into today, and y'all already know. Let's tap in with the first one. If you're tapped in, drop some feedback, drop some comments, all that good stuff. Let's get it.
All right, how old are you?
12.
On a scale of 1 through 10, how smart are you?
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10?
Yep.
All right, cool. So look, let's say, right, you were an artist, right, and a record label offered you a $1 million deal. What would you do?
Well, first things first, I gotta make sure when I'm signing that contract, I sign an additional publishing contract. Because I want to own 100% of my publishing.
Yeah.
I leave that record label in the future.
You smart.
Shazam!
You very smart. We the best. You a genius.
All right, so why do you think it's important for an artist to own 100% of their publishing rights?
It's honestly for when the artist gets in their 40s and 50s.
What you mean?
Because they really can't make music like they used to. Because they don't have that young energy anymore. But if they made hit songs early in their career, it would set them up for life. Because let's say 20 years after you made those hit songs, the company will want to use it for commercial usage. They come to you because you have the licensing rights. So basically, whatever you say goes. So now that every time that commercial plays, you make money from it. So now you're set for life because you have an infinite money glitch.
Type shit.
Yo, where did she come from? She been here before.
That part. Yeah, that was a lot of free game in such short amount of time. But like she said, it's an infinite money glitch. Because like when you own your publishing, you know, they're always going to have to come to you to use the music. And that's the position you really want to be in music.
Yeah, you want them to come to you, and you have the final say and the final word on what goes.
Yeah,
You know
so
what I mean?
So if you're into music, this is a gem, you know. And it's no excuse. Look how old she is.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just about, I think the thing about this game is you got to go into it doing your research. You know, if you're going to get into it, and there's no excuse, as you can see. You know, it's just, if you're going to play the game, know the rules.
Ooh, if you're going to play the game, know the rules. I like that. All right, let's get into the next topic. This one is about marketing music. Let's tap in.
3 TikToks a week and just sprinkle all your content around the small blogs. And don't overdo the music video. Don't force the music videos on the fans, bro. Give them snippets here and there. Give them some fun shit. Are you beefing with your bitch? Have y'all argue, make a skit. That's what the streamer's doing. All this shit is a lie. You and your mad at you, put a skit together. Arkansas rapper get slapped by his baby mom. Everything's a fucking lie on the internet, bro.
That's
Know how to work the internet, bro. Know how to work this shit. 3 TikToks a week and sprinkle your content around for 6 months. I guarantee your shit gonna change a little bit.
I think there's a little truth as far as like the consistency of the 3.
Dropping the content.
Yeah, the content. I think the content is definitely a big part of fans becoming fans of you now. They want to see a lifestyle. They want to see how you living. So I do believe.
I feel like that's the hard part for a lot of artists is the marketing side. And marketing is business. Business is marketing. So I feel like a lot of the artists, they kind of drop the ball in that department.
But you know what's crazy is like that's why the smarter artists are all linking up with streamers. Because if you know you don't have that like social personality, the smartest thing to do is link up with like a Kai Sanai or
link up with DDG right now.
Or you know what I'm saying? And let's, you know, like look how when he had the streamathon, how many artists was pulling up and how that just gave them that that new, you know what I'm saying? Resurgence.
Yeah, exactly. It gave them like a brighter light type speed. Yeah. So, I'm not gonna lie, that hit-a-thon. That was kind of cool. He need to do another one.
Yeah, I mean,
That was cool.
I think we're gonna see more stuff like that though.
Yeah.
From different artists, but.
All right, yeah. So, in other words, y'all, figure out a way to market your music. All right, I don't really believe in doing the fake shit just for the look.
Nah, that ain't it.
But with that being said, you can make any type of content and just keep going. So, all right. Next topic. Let's see what we get into.
You want entrepreneurship? Cool. Here's what else you're gonna get with it. Not knowing when you're gonna get paid next week, or if you're gonna get paid next week. Every week. You ready for that? No clocking out. Your job doesn't leave you when you get home. Being misunderstood by the people closest to you. Risking your own money and losing it more than a couple of times. Wearing every hat until you can afford to take one off. And when you finally hire people, that's even more pressure because now you're responsible for their paychecks. Losing your motivation and having to show up anyways. Launches that flop. Criticism from people who never build shit. Sometimes it's tears at night and game face in the morning. Sometimes it's coaching yourself out of a panic. Trusting that all the effort will pay off while every fear tells you that it won't. So no, entrepreneurship ain't for everybody. Some people are built for paychecks and that's okay. But if you can carry all of this and keep going, it will pay you in ways a paycheck never will.
That was deep.
Yeah, like I love how she put that.
That was deep. All facts.
Yeah, I just feel like that being an entrepreneur is a lot more than what the eye meets and what the eye sees, and you have to be in it to respect the game. You know, and once you in it and you see what comes with the game, you literally have to have a conversation with yourself and say, is this me?
Yeah.
A real conversation. You know what I'm saying? Like, is this something that I'm ready to risk? Because it's really, being an entrepreneur is a risk.
Yeah.
It's a big risk.
You taking a risk on yourself.
But that risk ultimately can create generational wealth for the next generation.
Yeah.
You know, because if you don't take that risk, you're always in that cycle of working.
Yeah.
Working. And it's hard to build generational wealth when you have a ceiling. You know, you just got to look at it like that.
Yeah.
So, you know, your one risk might pay off for 4 to 5 generations. I think that's kind of how you got to look at that. Like, what's the biggest long-term goal of taking a risk? Well, this might pay off for not only my daughter, but for my daughter's kids or my son's kids.
Yeah.
And when you look at it like that, and you can really see that the risk can work, it's not really as bad.
Yeah.
Because you're not looking for the instant result. You're looking for the long-term.
The long-term result.
So it's just how you know, perspective, how you see it. But everything she said is real. Come with it, man.
Yeah, especially you know. You've been an entrepreneur since 2011.
I've been an entrepreneur since high school.
Well,
Since I met you.
Yeah.
Since
you
high school.
You definitely been an entrepreneur my whole entire life of knowing you.
Yeah.
But I feel like you really, really like took it serious when you lost it all, and then you had to bounce back from nothing.
I think I was more so forced to take it serious because when you have nothing, it's not like you have a safety net. I think that's the thing what propels entrepreneurs is when you have nothing, you looking at it like it's nothing to fall back on, so it has to work. And when you have that mindset that it has to work, 9 times out of 10, it end up working. Not right when you want it to, but somehow, some way, the universe always makes that next step that you're trying to get to. It just makes it like where it just comes. And it's out of nowhere when you least expect it. To a point, like you said, when I met you in high school, I was hustling, but I wasn't hustling with a purpose.
You was just hustling because you had to?
Yeah, it was more survival. Like, it was more so like, okay, I got my own apartment. I want things in life, and I've been trained to see that. My mom and dad, they hustle and they make money when they hustle, so I want to do that. But then when I got out of prison, it's more so like, it's interesting because when I got out of prison, it was more so like a comeback. It's like if somebody was like to play sports and they get an injury. Now it's like, I know I gotta come back, so I gotta work harder.
Yeah. Exactly.
So then you got more of a purpose because now everybody is more psychological too. I'm thinking everybody thinking I'm going to like not come back.
Right.
So that's more of a thing to fuel me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think I do well under pressure.
Yeah, when people doubt you.
I love it. I'm in my best element when I feel like everybody think I'm a lose or I'm a fall. Because now I have something to like, not necessarily to prove, but something that I know
something that'll drive you.
Yeah, it's like a drive. It's like, okay, y'all doubted me. Let me show you again.
Yeah.
And that again becomes the assignment in my rush.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, but I see you now. Look at you. You know,
I'm a lightweight entrepreneur.
Yeah, and I feel like that's a beautiful thing because now when we have conversations, we can see things as one.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what you really, as a partner, that's what you kind of really want is to be able to, your partner, you be able to share certain conversations and have certain dialogues, and y'all both can have a POV where y'all both are experiencing certain things, and y'all both can be able to say, let's figure it out together. When you got one entrepreneur and a person that's not an entrepreneur,
it's tough.
It's tough. It's like you talking to a wall because it's nothing relatable.
Yeah. Imagine. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
United through music.
All right. All facts. Let's get into our last one for the evening.
The biggest issues in our society, just to go on a real serious kick, because anytime I have a platform I go there, we've become incredibly good at blaming technology for anxiety and depression. When you look at the data, I promise you this will be understood sooner than later. It is the over-coddling and entitlement of modern parenting. It was well intended. A lot of us overcompensated for how our parents' generation did it. But when you start going to a place where you are getting kids into a place of complete no accountability, when you are paying for your 26-year-old's existence, they're not in a good place, I promise you. I promise you. And so when I had a kid come up to me the other day and he was like, I'm really fucked up, this, and he's all tired, and I said, stop taking your parents' money. Do you know that there's people out there taking money from their parents in their 20s and shitting on their parents?
Isn't that crazy?
It's fucking crazy.
That is crazy.
We've completely lost our way. And you know who I blame? The parents. I have parents come to me because I talk about this and they're like, Gary, you're right, it's all fucked up. I'm like, so stop giving it to them. They're like, what do I do? I'm like, don't give them the money. So we've over-coddled. We have to find the middle. And I think the faster you find the middle, the faster you get happy. And so that's why I wrote the book.
See, we should have found the beginning, the source, so you wouldn't have to find the middle. But yeah, how you feeling about this one?
I mean, this one for me is like I'm that whatever the opposite of coddling is, you looking at it. So I feel like, man, struggle builds character, and that's one thing when it comes to my surroundings. Not even just Seven, the surroundings. I'm very, very hard on the people around me because I feel like, at some point reality is gonna hit.
Yeah. And
so, I guess when you ask me how I feel about this, I feel like when he's talking about kids, so let's go to that. When a kid is young, that's the best time for them to struggle.
That's the best time to start molding them into good behaviors and things that's gonna help them in their future. And
that's the best time for them to build their layers of skin. Yeah. That's gonna get peeled off every now and then.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's why I'm so hard on Seven if she ever watches this, is because I know that not only the world is hard now, her generation, it's going to be way harder. Yeah. So it's just preparing her mentally to know that anything she goes through, she can get through it. And that all starts with just having challenges and adversity that you got to get through.
Exactly.
And unfortunately, like he said, you never want your kid to be a grown adult.
Still asking for money.
I mean, he's saying it in a way where like, take care of me. I think it's two different type of ways of that. If Seven was to become an adult and she had like something happen to her physically or something and she needed help, as a parent, you're supposed to kick in.
Oh, yeah.
He's saying, like, nigga, you don't want to work. You don't want to do nothing. You've been asking me money for your whole life.
Yeah.
And the reason that happens because it starts when they're young. It's like right now, best example, Seven wants the Lego set, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, 2 years ago, that Lego set would have just popped up just because she wants it.
That is a fact.
Right now, it's more so like,
you gotta put that work in. What can you do?
What could you do around the house, or what could you do to earn that $100 to say, I bought this with my own money and I like this feeling.
Yeah.
Therefore, even that feeling, now when you do the Lego set, when you're done with it, you're gonna have more pride in it because you went through the whole process to get it.
Yeah, the struggle to getting the money to get it, putting the work in to get it. Yeah.
And you know what the crazy part, fast story, when I was maybe in middle school, I wanted a dirt bike. And my dad, I told him, and he said, well, if you want that dirt bike, how much is it? I told him it was $1,500. He said, I'll go half with you. So if you come up with $750, I'll match the $750.
Yeah.
And I literally hustled to get that $750 within a couple days. And
hey, damn.
But the crazy part about it is this. That story didn't mean as much as it means now, because now that I'm raising a kid, all he was just showing me was, I'll help you, but you gotta at least meet me halfway.
And that's exactly what parents should be doing.
I don't have no problem helping you, but if I give it to you, next time you want something, you're gonna look for me to give it to you.
Yeah.
But if you work for it, you probably gonna like these results of you getting what you want. And you might not even ask me, because you know the fact that you made $750, you can get the $1,500 if you just take 2 weeks. So it's all psychological.
Yeah.
And it's just training the brain that it could be done. Like the crossword puzzles, Seb was doing crossword puzzles now. I said, for every page you do, you get $1. Now that's something that's like, you think it's so simple and minute, but all is showing her that is, if I get this done, I can get paid. And that's life.
And not only that, she gets a spark. She's like, oh, okay, yeah, let's do it. Like, that's what you want kids to go into when they're about to face a challenge. Not, oh, I gotta do this. I don't want to do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I love that. I love to see that.
What's your what's your perspective on this?
What's my perspective on this? I definitely agree. But sometimes, my motherly instinct, it kicks in. And I just naturally, you got to remember, she was inside of my stomach for 9 months. So we have a connection that is beyond what I could describe to you. So, with that being said, when I see her doing certain things, in that moment, I'm not really thinking about, oh, this could be holding her back and not helping her. In that moment, I'm like, oh, mom, yeah, mama, whatever it is. You know what I mean?
This is a natural instinct.
It's a natural instinct. But what I can say is I definitely appreciate you when you be like, nah, let her do it. Let her try. And I'll be like, oh, you know what? You're right. Okay, mom mode turned off. Do that. Yeah, try it. So that's just a natural internal like mom mode that I'm working on. But yeah, I definitely see like when she's doing certain things, she's excited to do it. You know what I mean? She's asking me, Mom, I want that new Lego set. Is there anything I could do around the house? There sure is.
Yeah.
There sure is something. And I told her, you could go scrub them showers. Scrub the showers. And for every shower that you scrub, I'll give you $5. You know what she did? She did? She ran and went and got the stuff. And she like, let me knock this out. let me get this right now. She didn't wait till later. I didn't have to persuade her to do it. Yeah. So it definitely works, y'all. I know in that moment, y'all be like, let me spoil little Johnny, but y'all are actually hurting little Johnny's future. You're hurting little Johnny's future. So in that moment, it sucks. It hurts. You hate to see it, at least for me. But then you start to realize that there's a bigger and better motive on the other side. So.
And it's rewarding.
Yeah, it's rewarding. It's rewarding.
When a kid comes to you, and because I could be, I could be a little
rough around the edges.
Yeah, I'm aggressive, and I know it though.
Yeah, he got that aggressive love.
I have aggressive love, but what I notice a lot is that even though I'm aggressive and I do break feelings around here, it's no better feeling when you guys see the results that I know that you guys can get to, and it's just like a more so like a refreshing feeling.
It's like
It's like I know y'all was gonna get there. It's just I get it. Y'all had to cry a little bit. Y'all had to be mad at me for a little bit, but at the same time, this is why I did it to get to this point right here. Yeah. Facts. We went to 4 different stores today. I look at every day as a teachable moment.
Oh yeah.
The first store we went to, this quick story, we went to look for 7 shoes, and the first store we went to, she saw some shoes, but they wasn't basketball shoes. We went to look for basketball shoes, but she just wanted them because they look cool. And I said, 7, let's stick to the mission. Mm-hmm. We came to find some comfortable basketball shoes. Mm-hmm. So after when we got to the first store, we found some Kobe's, which on the way there, she's bringing up Gigi, asking me questions about Gigi and Kobe. Mm-hmm. So that energy was already in the car. Yeah. It was already in the universe. Mm-hmm. But if we just would have compromised and got some shoes that she really didn't want, but they was cute, but they wasn't the shoes that's like what we was looking for. Yeah. She would have settled. She would have played in them. They would have been heavy on her feet. Then she would have said she wants some different shoes. Mm-hmm. Well, now she got what she wanted. She's been eyeing Kobe's. Mm-hmm. So what I gained out of that was we could have settled, but we would have never made it to that 4th store where these Kobe's, as soon as you seen them, you lit up. Mm-hmm. So the moral of the story is sometimes it's not about compromising. It's about being patient and keep looking.
Mm-hmm. And sticking to the mission.
And sticking to the mission.
Yeah. Whenever we go in a grocery store, gotta have a list. I can't go in there without a list. Let me tell you. Because, yeah. Anyways, so we always go in the stores with lists. And sometimes we deviate off the list a little bit. But, when she does it, I try to explain to her, like, no, we have a list. Let's only stick to our list. We got a budget. Let's stick to our budget.
Stick to the plan. Discipline is everything, man. Mm-hmm. Discipline is this. If you look at DDG, you look at all the top streamers, the only reason why they're winning is because they have a regimen. That's the only way you become successful. You listen to every video of people talk about how they gain millions in wealth, if they're going to tell you the sacrifice and discipline they took to get to that level where now it's starting to just roll.
Inconsistency.
Kai Cenat. They love, everybody say how much money he making now, but they don't see how many videos that man did for years before he started making the millions. Mm-hmm. DDG, he's doing he streams every day. Mm-hmm. He ain't taking no days off. But then when he flexing how much money he making, y'all not seeing that the mental, sometimes that I see sometimes physically, he be broke down. But he's a machine at this point.
Yeah. And sometimes you gotta reset. We all gotta reset.
Yeah, I feel that. But I'm just saying, when people see money, they don't see what it's taken to get to these levels a lot of times. They just see results. Yeah. It's like the microwave. Like you put something in a microwave, you really not seeing the nutrients like when you cook the food. Yeah. The seasonings and all the things that you take when you put it in the stove and cook it on the stove. It's different. Yeah. So, yeah, I believe like being disciplined is, if you want to be successful at anything, and we talk about music on the lives a lot, especially in music, You gotta be disciplined. You gotta show up when you don't want to show up.
Exactly. And another thing to talk about too, like what Gary Vee was saying about like blaming technology, like for example, you know, the thing right now is kids are always on their phone. That's why they're depressed. But you gotta know, you gotta teach your kids how to use that phone. You know what I mean? Set boundaries with that phone. Because for example, if we just let the iPads babysit our kids, what do you think that's going to do eventually?
Yeah, you definitely gotta have balance.
That is going to cause them to be depressed. So as parents, we got to step in and set boundaries, and you got to do it early. You can't be doing it when they 15, 16, 13, 14.
You're too attached to it.
It might be too late.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, that's another thing you can make them work for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We've been doing that.
Yeah, we've been doing that, and I will tell you it works. Not even it works, but it's a proven fact at this point. You just got to consistently keep going with that, you know.
You got to be disciplined. That's all that is discipline.
That's all that is.
It's saying you can't have this, you can have that. And staying on the pace of like this, you know, sometimes when they throw the temper tantrum or they get mad about it, that little nip it in the bud.
Yeah, don't give in.
Don't give in.
Because you give in once, now they know, ooh, I got her.
That's, you know.
I got her. You know what I mean?
It always comes back to discipline.
Yeah, so very cool, interesting topic. But yeah, that wraps up, you know, today's segment of What's Your Perspective? All right, as usual, drop some feedback, drop some comment. How y'all feeling about these? And yeah.
United through music.